What up, my dudes? This is Mr. Gardner, and this is Math Time with Mr. G. Today we're going to talk about the quadratic formula, which helps us find our x-intercepts, our zeros, our solutions, however our textbook is going to describe those. And this equation is kind of long, so I decided to tell you a funny story to help you remember it. So, growing up, I had two brothers. One was a good brother and one was a bad brother. Bad in the fact that he always got in trouble, and the good one never got in trouble. So here is Doug. He always got in trouble, so that's why I have negative B for bad brother. And he would always invite friends over to our house. So there's people coming and going. So plus is for people coming into our house. Minus is for people leaving our house. And so here's our house with our square root representing our house. So my bad brother had people showing up and leaving from our house. And then here's my second brother. He's the one who is always the goody two-shoe. So I have brothers, and I have two of them. So one day, my bad brother convinced my good brother to throw a house party in which my good brother consumed 4 cranberry apples. Yep. Well, when my mom found out that he had consumed these, she kicked him out of the house at 2 a.m. So hopefully that funny story helps you remember the quadratic formula. So one more time. It is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And of course we're referencing back to our equation in standard form, in which we're going to plug these numbers in for those letters. Okay? So, just a couple reminders. Our axis of symmetry equation is negative b over 2a. And that's where my parabola, no matter where it is, it cuts the parabola in half. Okay? My discriminant is saying, okay, so now I have a parabola. How many times does it cross this x-axis? So my choices are never, once, or twice. And so the discriminant equation is going to be the square root of b squared minus 4ac. And if this equation is greater than 0, we find an answer greater than 0. So 0.1, 1, a million, then it's going to cross twice. But if it is exactly 0, it's only going to cross once. And if this equation, after we solve it, is less than 0, a fraction of 0, negatives, stuff like that, okay? We're going to say never. It never crosses. Okay? So when we put our axis of symmetry, negative b over 2a, and I'm going to add and subtract my discriminant of b squared minus 4ac, I can plug in to find my x-intercepts. So I have this equation here. This guy looks nasty. I would never want to factor that. And if I set equal to 0, subtracted 7, divided by 2, and tried to do my complete the squares, then I have a fraction over here, and that looks miserable too. So this technique will work every single time, no matter what. I just have to label A, B, C. So then I have negative 3, negative for the equation, negative 3 for my b, plug it in, plus or minus negative 3 squared minus 4 times a times c. And then all of that's going to be over 2a. So negative, negative, make a positive, plus or minus, square root, 3 squared is 9, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 7 is going to be negative 56 all over 4. And then I get 3 plus or minus all over 4 negative 45. And I'm going to stop right there. So this is a negative in a square root. So that's a less than 0. So we're going to say that this has no solutions. So it never crosses. Or no solution. But for a test or quiz, if you left it like that, that would be perfect. All right. If you guys have any questions or a funny story that you would like to tell me to help you remind yourself of the quadratic formula, put it in the comment section. But other than that, be kind to each other, ask lots of questions, and think deeply.